I finally defeated God of War, and not even Ragnarok. I just defeated the 2018 one. Yeah, I haven't played Ragnarok yet. I just defeated. Oh my god, it was probably one of the longest games I ever played, but it was also probably one of the best games I ever played. I loved it. I've been gaming a lot. I know I said this last video, but I beat God of War, and I'm pretty close to beating Jedi Fallen Order. I'm kind of just catching up on games that I haven't played yet, just games I've missed. Because sometimes, like, I'm really into gaming, and then other times I just kind of forget about it. And then I'm like, oh no, I missed out on all these great games. I gotta get to it. I gotta beat them. And so, yeah, I finally finished God of War. It was awesome. I'm almost done with Jedi Fallen Order. It's also awesome. And, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Um, but yeah, good morning, everybody. It is bright and early. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Pull List, where we're going to talk about brand new comic book releases from this week and last week, because last Sunday I put out a video, top 10 comics of the decade, and I didn't talk about the books that came out last Wednesday. So this is going to be a big episode. We are going to have a very, very big episode upon us with a whole bunch of comics. And I think we should get right to it. So first, I'm going to go over the comics that came out last week and give my thoughts and opinions on them. I'll probably go through these a little quicker, but yeah, so last week we got comics like Extreme X-Men number 2, The Amazing Spider-Man number 16, She-Hulk number 9, John Stewart, The Emerald Knight number 1, and Action Comics 1050. So I'm going to start at the bottom. The Amazing Spider-Man number 16 continues to not be good. This is another dark web tie-in, and to tell you the truth, I can't even tell you what happened in this book. It's just Spider-Man and Ben Reilly fighting. The art is drawn by Ed McGuinness and written by Zeb Wells, and the art is fine. The story, man, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, and I want to stop reading it. But I know in a couple issues, I think Zeb Wells is done and Joe Kelly is coming on board, and I really want to read that. So I'm just going to stick it out. I'm going to see how Dark Web ties in or wraps up, really, and then jump on board with the Joe Kelly run. But overall, I'm not enjoying this series, and this new issue did not do anything for me. I will say, there are moments in this whole dark web stuff where Ben Reilly he has dreams of Peter like being mean to him, and they're laughably bad. Like laughably bad. I'm reading it, and Peter does something so crazy in Ben Reilly's dream, and I can't help but to laugh. It's ridiculous. Next up is Extreme X-Men number 2, and yeah, going back to the well of Extreme X-Men, I don't know if it was a good idea. I think you guys could totally skip this one. I think it's just going to be a 6-issue miniseries anyway. It was all right. The art was fine. If you enjoy this assortment of characters, then definitely read it. But I don't know. I think it's perfectly skippable, which really sucks because Chris Claremont's back on the title, but I feel like they should have given him something a little better than Extreme X-Men again. Unless he wanted to do this, but who knows? I don't know. Next up, we're going to talk about She-Hulk number 9 by Rainbow Rowell, and this book was awesome. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, so the villains of the She-Hulk book, what are their names? They're a married couple who have been gamma radiated. Mark and April, I believe. He's a giant Hulk man, and she's a little tiny big-headed woman. It's really weird. But they're trying to mess up She-Hulk, and Jack of Hearts gets involved and everything. It's such a great, fun series so far. And if you haven't been reading it, definitely check it up. It's not the most like insane book. It's not like every issue the world's ending, but it is a really nice, fun book to read. It's like a palate cleanser. After you read all the good and all the bad, you read She-Hulk, and it's good, and you enjoy it, and it's like there's not huge stakes, but there's huge stakes for the characters, and that's really cool. So I definitely recommend She-Hulk number 9. Really cool. All these books, by the way, have been $3.99. I always forget to mention the price, but All of these were $3.99. Now the next two books are DC books, and they're both $5.99. And so the first book is Jon Stewart, The Emerald Knight #1, and I thought this book was really, really cool. Yeah, without getting too into spoilers, it's really cool seeing Jon Stewart in a leader role. Him and the Green Lanterns. If I do have any critiques about it, I don't really love their costumes. I don't love the new Green Lantern costumes. I think they're kind of weird, kind of plain. But Jon Stewart's costume's pretty cool. But I think seeing him in a leader role with, Kilowog and all these other Green Lantern characters is really great. Also, the art in this book is phenomenal. Really great by Marco Santucci. Really great. The colors as well are really cool. It's a really pretty looking book. A lot of great action sequences. The villain of the book, I thought he was kind of whack. I thought there wasn't much to him. And I don't know if this is going to be like an ongoing series. I know a Jon Stewart book is coming, like an ongoing series. So maybe this was just like a prelude to that, because I'm not seeing an Emerald Knight #2 coming out anytime soon. But that being said, definitely pick this one up, especially if you want to read the upcoming Jon Stewart book in the Dawn of DC, because this will probably set up everything. And it was really cool. The art's really great. I hope Marco Santucci returns for the art, because his art was great. I don't think I've ever seen him do art before. I don't know if I've read a book where he's doing the art, but man, it's really good. And the last DC book of this week, of last week, my bad, was Action Comics number 1050. The Dark Crisis is over, so now we're getting launched into the dawn of the DCEU, and this is a book that will, help us get there. This book is written by Tom Taylor, Joshua Williamson, Philip Kennedy Johnson, art by Clayton Henry and Nick Dragotta and Mike Perkins. There is a lot of story, a lot of content in here, but overall, it was really good. It was really enjoyable. I thought it was very fun. I thought the art was good. I know there's 3 different artists, so I think the art ranged from really, really great to fine. I'm not the biggest Nick Dragotta fan, but if you are, then you're definitely going to enjoy this. It's just pretty much a standard Superman versus Lex Luthor story, but, without getting into too many spoilers, a lot of things do happen. It is setting up what is to come. I definitely recommend this. It was super cool to see. But yeah, I think those are all my thoughts. I want to really get into the Action Comics number 1050, talk spoilers about it, but I don't know. I want you guys to go out and read it, because Superman does something really cool in this. Lex Luthor, man, I can't talk about it, because I want you guys to go out and read it. Definitely go read it. $5.99. It seems like a pretty hefty price, but believe me, you're getting a lot of content in here, and it is setting up what is to come. So that's very cool. Okay, and now on to comics that came out this week. We got only 4 comics. We got Batman number 131, Fantastic Four number 3, Joe Fixit number 1, and The Scarlet Witch number 1. So I'm going to start at what I thought was my least favorite out of all of these. And, it really pains me to say it, because I was very excited about it, but Scarlet Witch number 1, I don't know. I thought it was good. I thought the art was good. The story was fine, but I just don't think it was for me. You get to see Scarlet Witch, and she's kind of living a normal life, but not really. She opened up a shop, and Darcy is there, and then she gets people that need help wander through this magical door into her shop, and she helps them. And that's what happens in this issue. An Italian woman comes to her shop, needs help. Her wife is being possessed or something by this villain, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It was fine. The art was really great, Sarah Pacelli, but overall, I don't know if I'm going to continue this one. You do get to see Quicksilver and mentions of Quicksilver's daughter, Luna, but yeah, I don't know, it wasn't for me, and that sucks, because I was very, very much looking forward to it. It is written by Steve Orlando and Sarah Pacelli. Great art. Maybe you will enjoy it. I bet a lot of people are going to enjoy it, but it's just not what I was expecting. But it's not bad. It's not a bad book at all. All right, so let's keep going up the list. We'll do all the Marvel books, and then we'll finish off with the Batman book. So next up is Joe Fixit #1 by Peter David, and oh boy, this book was really fun. I really enjoyed this. There's not a lot of Joe Fixit in it. It's surprisingly a lot of Spider-Man, which is weird. Spider-Man goes to Las Vegas, and he ends up bumping into the Kingpin, and you find out that the Kingpin is gonna go have a chat with Joe Fixit, or well, Joe Fixit's boss. I can't remember his name. Um, but yeah, it appears like Kingpin is gonna be the main villain of this miniseries, and that's really cool. Joe Fixit is written by Peter David. I think I said that, but it's really great having him back on the title. He did the new Fantastic Four miniseries that came out where Joe Fixit was in, so I'm excited for this. I'm definitely going to keep reading. The art was really great. Who did the art? Yildiray Sinar. I'm terrible at knowing names and stuff, but the art was really spectacular. Yeah, it was just a fun issue. It was just a fun issue with solid art. What can I say? I definitely recommend it. $3.99. The Scarlet Witch book was $4.99, by the way. But yeah, Joe Fixit. Definitely recommend. Next up, we're going to talk about Fantastic Four #3. This book is $3.99, written by Ryan North and drawn by Ivan Coelho. Yeah, this book continues to be just spectacular. It's always spectacular. I know, that's what I keep saying every week, but it is. This is the Human Torch issue, and we get to see what Human Torch has been doing, like, while the Fantastic Four has been disbanded, and it's just so funny. It's just such a silly and funny book. You get to see Johnny Storm, he has an identity. Man, I want to talk about it. I'm just going to say a few things about it. He has an identity. He's working at this place called Shopland, and he dyes his hair black, and he grew this epic mustache, so no one knows it's him. And he becomes friends with all the other employees at Shopland, and the boss of the Shopland is the villain of the book. And it's just silly. It's funny. It's a really enjoyable book. And unlike The Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, we're finally going to learn the mystery of what's going on with the Fantastic Four. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see why they split up, what happened. This issue ends with like a big cliffhanger of like, what the hell is that? Very cool stuff. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see where this goes. And then, of course, the final book that I'm going to talk about today is Batman #131. This book was $4.99 and written by Chip Zdarsky and drawn by Miguel Mendonca. This book was fine. Yeah, this is The Batman of Gotham Part 1, and it was weird. The art was good. The story, I'm not too sure about. It appears that after the whole Failsafe arc, it seemed like Failsafe shot Batman, but instead he sent him to another dimension or something, where Gotham is without a Batman, or weirder, and James Gordon is a skeleton man, and it's just like all weird and crazy. It's like not dystopian, but just like a weird future where if Gotham didn't have a Batman, but now Bruce Wayne is here. I don't know. It didn't pull me as much as the other stuff happened, but this is only chapter 1. It does show a few things like, who's this villain, and why is James Gordon a skeleton? What's Selena Kyle doing? It shows like some cool stuff, and if you enjoyed the Failsafe arc like I did, then definitely keep reading. But if you're looking for a way out of Chip Zdarsky's Batman, then this is probably it. This issue was just fine, but the art was really good. I am going to keep reading. I am looking forward to what is to come. But yeah, so that is everything that came out for the last 2 weeks. Now, let me give you guys some recommendations for books that are coming out of the week, January 11th, 2023. So the first book, man, I can't go a single episode without talking about The Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 17 is coming out. I'm going to pick it up. It's another dark web tie-in. I definitely don't recommend that you pick it up, but I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up so you don't have to. But yeah, maybe this one will be fun. Maybe this one will be good. I never hope that it's bad. I never hope that I don't enjoy it. But hopefully this one turns some things around. But next up, we got Daredevil #7 by Chip Zdarsky. Yes, Daredevil has been just such a wild ride, such a great, fun book. Looks like Punisher is going to get involved. Looks really cool. If you're reading The Punisher and Daredevil at the same time, then you are just having a great experience. Like, both of those books are fantastic, and they're intertwining now, and it's just so cool. So I cannot wait to talk about this next book. Next up, oh boy, we got Lazarus Planet Alpha #1. Does anyone know what this is about? I have no idea. Lazarus Planet could only, I don't know, there's a giant Lazarus pit and it's gonna swallow the planet. I really don't know a single thing about it, but Mark Waid is writing it. Billy Tan is drawing it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be about, but I'm going to have to read it because it's a big event. So, and this is Alpha #1. So there's probably going to be a ton of tie-ins. This book will be $5.99 coming out next week. Yeah, we just got to stay tuned to see how this is going to be. Oh, and then Predator #6. Man, this is the end of Predator. Have I talked about Predator yet? I feel like I did in the first episode. But Predator has been a really fun series so far, and I can't wait to finally wrap it up. So this is who writes this? Is it Ed Brisson? Yeah, Ed Brisson and drawn by Kev Walker. This book has been like really fun. The covers have been great. The story has been great. The character Theta, she's a human girl whose family was killed by a certain predator, and she's on the predator planet hunting the predator down. Really cool stuff, really action-packed, great art. I cannot wait to wrap it up. And speaking of wrapping up, this, I think, is a perfect segue to wrap up the show. So that was everything. Comics from last week, comics from the last week, comics coming up next week. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And go check out our other podcast, the Off the Shelf podcast, where we pick a comic off my shelf and talk about it for about an hour and make silly jokes and have fun. And this episode will come out Sunday. Every episode of The Pull List comes out Sunday. And I think this is episode 5? It's episode 5 or 6. I don't know if I'm going to count the Decade of Comics episode as like a Pull List episode. Like, it is called The Pull List, but I don't know if it's going to get a number. But yeah, so thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next Sunday.